you off my mind. Mental penetration. Whip the conversation. Baby, we get it faded. Get it faded, faded, faded when I see you. Get it faded, faded, faded when I see you.
Hey everybody, welcome to DBT LA. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Fred.
What's going on, Fred? How you doing, my brother?
Doing good, man. Just looking to enjoy my weekend. Just getting started.
So first of all, first thing I want to do, I want to welcome you to DBT because me and you've been friends for a while, but we had actually stopped doing the previous podcast in Colorado. I had moved, and pieces were moving around and changing and stuff like that. But I appreciate you being willing to come on over and just get down with your boy and help me create content and stuff like that, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the community, but also like our voices are valuable. We need to be connected, and us as brothers, as men, you know what I mean? Like, so I appreciate you being willing to get down with me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Anytime.
Now, one thing that me and you have in common is we both been driving trucks since forever. And trust me, I ain't trying to just sit here and talk about truck driving, but that's not what I hop on to a DBT episode to talk about. But that's where we met. We both worked at companies that have kind of been willing to hire you and fire you, or let you go, or give you work or don't give you work at whatever whim and they want to do it. So I kind of want to talk about that, because me and you, we worked at that one company. I don't even know if I
Well, I don't even want to say that name, man.
for real, but we worked at that one company that will remain unnamed. And man, they kind of did us dirty a little bit. From everything that I remember, but there were clear signs, there were clear signals to me, because I think I started like a year. How long had you been up there before I came up there?
I was only there maybe about 5 or 6 months before you got there. I
Okay.
wasn't there long.
Well, okay, so that was a night job that was driving trucks in and out of the port, bringing cargo off those ships, or taking it to the ships, and dropping it off at a drop yard somewhere in the Long Beach area. And um there were signs though that things were kind of gonna go a certain way, and like I talk about that because we got to be looking at these signs in our current economy, and like in life we got to be able to read these tea leaves, like like sometimes it just can you put a finger up to the wind and kind of see which way the wind's blowing sometimes. um when I started up there, uh my first 2 days, they didn't even have work for me. I just clocked in and hung out for 8 hours. And having went through a recession before, back in 2008, 2009, 2010, or whatever, I was like, ain't no way this is gonna last. I need to go ahead and start looking. And lo and behold, they start letting people go. What's your experience like in different waves of the economy, in truck driving in particular? What were your different like little experiences like when it comes to kind of being able to see what was coming down the road, you know, before it happened?
Well, but before I was a truck driver, I was in construction. So I got into truck driving just to get away from the seasonal work, from the construction. I did a lot of different type and styles of construction. And I was thinking that I was, finding job security by learning how to do all aspects of the construction. That still didn't work because, you get bad weather, especially in Miami, Florida. It rains so much down there, it's tropical
Right now,
climate. Yeah. And I'm done. especially in the, you have rainy seasons over there. So, you could be sitting out of work for 2 or 3 months straight. I couldn't survive off of that, starting a family, and being the only um, income in the household, supporting my family. So um, I was always eyeballing the trucking industry. So I decided to go ahead and get on in it. Went through the truck driving school and everything, and went over the road, paid my dues all over across the country. I enjoyed it, going over the road. A lot of people don't enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy the team driving with somebody I didn't know. I did good. I did good when I teamed up with a good friend, but just with strangers that didn't work, in those schools.
Yep.
So um um I came back, I moved back to California and got my CDL, and that gave me a pretty good job security for some time, because you can go anywhere. You can, if the work is not good in Georgia or Florida with the trucking industry, you can go somewhere else, and it's other places where it will be rolling and you can roll. So I
Yep.
did that for a few years, um, working out of Georgia, South Carolina, Missouri even. I kind of enjoyed Missouri because that was like new. Um, that was new terrain for me.
Where is Missouri?
This,
I can't even.
Missouri is
Is it up
um
north?
it's in between Kansas and Illinois.
Okay. Yep.
So I was in
Yeah, I
St.
mean,
Louis.
totally
I was
different
in
little
St. Louis.
economies.
Yeah, it's totally different. So, I got a chance to learn that lifestyle of the city of Missouri, St. Louis, for about 4 years. And then I decided to move back to Cali, after I reconnected with Juliana. You met Juliana. And me and my girl, we've been, kicking it. And I've been driving the trucks here in Long Beach out the port. I got hurt on one job, and after my disability was over, I came to work at, you know, where we work together. And I was already familiar with the port work in Savannah, Georgia.
Mm,
Um, LA is a little bit more faster and more congested, and it's larger, but it has its up and downs too. So, um, it was cool, but knowing to see the signs of how it slows down during the seasons of, like, after Christmas, it'll slow down. And then I noticed, like, the the employers would start looking at the employees, the drivers, as numbers. And
absolutely.
they don't seem to value you like when you first get hired around that time. That's when I started noticing a change after the holidays, when they don't need you. They want to start changing the rate of the pay and stuff. I'm like, what the heck is this? And so I guess they
That's
have
when
their
it
little
slows down. Right
favorites.
after, right
They
after
had
Christmas.
they yeah, so I noticed they started changing the attitude of the management and everything. They start treating the drivers like numbers and seeing who's going to go first, who's going to voluntarily go before they start laying off. So That's when I noticed change. Then, and I tried to hang in there as long as I could, but then something happened.
Oh well, looks like you got dropped. Um, I'm gonna give Fred the opportunity to jump back on. Uh, the signal was getting bad for a second, but then he just dropped. But while I'm waiting for Fred to come back, I can talk about it too because I remember the 2008 recession. And the reason I'm talking about this stuff is because it looks like we're entering another recession right now. Uh, and I just, we can all get caught up into personal stories and stuff like that, but I prefer to try to zoom out and look big picture because everybody's got a little individual, struggles and stuff like that. But the thing is, even when the economy is at its highest, there's going to be people with struggle stories and with individual things that ain't working out for them. So I like to try to zoom out a little bit and see, like, what can we learn instead of just sitting here thinking about our individual spots. So in 2008, I started to notice that, okay, so freight started going down. We started having less. So, okay, I got my license at Pepsi in 2006. So we were selling soda. We've been through some ups and downs in the economy. We're of a certain age, right? So back in like the 2008, 2010 recession, because I got my license in 2006, right? Back at Pepsi in Houston. And it started to slow down. The economy started slowing down in 2008, but we're selling soda. So people are still buying soda, pretty much like normal until late 2009. Our numbers started going down. It's kind of like, I can get these trucks empty a whole lot faster nowadays. My check is a little bit smaller, but everything was pretty much okay. And then by the time 2010 rolled around, they're like asking who wants to go home for the day, you know. Then the next day, who wants to go home for the day? And then after a while, they stop asking. They're like, you and you and you go home. You get paid for 4 hours or whatever. Take it to the house. And I was always, like you said, the only breadwinner. I was always trying to get an extra day. I'm the only one making money. So if I don't get an extra day here, I'm trying to have a little side hustle. I would DJ. I would help my homeboy do roofing, like construction stuff and like demolition and stuff like that. I started DJing. Like, bro, I was doing everything I could to try to make an extra dollar here and there. But 2000 came around, bro. They start breaking into our trucks. Uh, I'm delivering to a stop on Bissonnette on the southwest side of H-Town. And
Man,
oh my Lord, Bissonnette, they got me so bad on Bissonnette, bro. So the Lipton 1 liter iced teas were on sale, Lipton Brisk. And so I'm slanging Lipton. Half my truck was Lipton Brisk, dog. I'm slanging them, right? So I pull up to this one little hood stop, and it is what it is. So you have to stack up your stuff. So if the truck's here and the store's here, you don't ever put your product on the other side, right? You want to always be able to see your product. If you're going in, you can look back and see that your product is there. You don't want to get robbed blind. So I'm gonna stack my stuff on the store side, and man, I got 80 cases down. 80 cases down, lined up. I take the first stack in, I prop the door with it, say, hey, boss man, I got 85 cases coming in. The total's going to be 725.36. Money good? Money good? And they're like, yeah, but money's good, buddy. And so I run back. I grab my next stack. I go inside. I put that stack down. I turn around. This little Toyota Corolla had pulled up next to a stack of that Brisk. Skirt! A female hopped out. Now, she was a strong-looking female, I ain't gonna lie, but a female hopped out and started chunking cases in that car like she worked at Pepsi. She, yak. And I'm like, dog, you could be getting money right now. Like, we need you on the team. but like, I can't run back. I'm like, hey, and they jumped in the car, skirt. But the moral of the story is, like, it started getting crazy. Then stores were getting robbed. Some stores were getting robbed at that time, right? The stores started bouncing checks more. So you start the flags were there, right? So it's like, hey, when you deliver to this stop, you can't take any product in until they pay you for the last check that bounced. And you're like, dang, why are we still doing checks? Why can't they just sign for it? And the account people are like, they can't do credit anymore because they weren't making their payments on time. So it's like the class of people that we're thinking are doing better, like the business owner class. I own a gas station. You know what I'm saying? This is in my family. I have multiple family members that are using this as a generational wealth or whatever. They can't pay their bills either. You know, we're truck drivers thinking we're low on the totem pole, and then think about the warehouse workers and the janitors and everybody else. We're thinking we're low on the totem pole. The dude that owns a store that pulled up in that Lexus and he's, you know, doing everything quote unquote balling, they're falling behind too. Because you're buying less Lipton Brisk, you're buying less gasoline, you're carpooling more, you're buying less you know, candy and gum and stuff whenever you do fill up your tank because the gas prices went up, you know, or just they stay the same and you can't afford it as much because your check is smaller. So there were some of those flags, you know, flags on the play that were popping up that we should have been looking at and reading, and not to just read into everything because people are like, you go too deep into stuff, but it's like, bro, nobody want to analyze nothing, then they keep on getting caught off guard. You know, that's how I personally feel about it. But I'm the type, I'll look at a movie, I'll be 10 minutes in and I'll be done figured most of it out. Right. And sometimes they pull a little switcheroo and okay, that was tight how they did that. But 9 times out of 10, we've been around the block a couple times, right? We know love stories.
Yeah.
You know, if he fell in love with that girl and he said, and he, for some social weird reason, he had to tell her that he hates her. I don't love you. I never wanted to be with you or whatever. You know, they're going to get back together in the end. He only said that so he could cover his bases up for blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever that disaster movie is, the dog survives. I don't care how big that tsunami wave is that comes in there. That dog is going to survive. He's going to come floating and they're going to like, oh, Spot, he made it. But that type of thing, like we know what this is.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting at. So yeah, I feel like, so let me just land the plane to a degree. I feel like we're seeing some signs, dog. We're seeing some signs right now.
Well, we already know what time it is. With everything that's going on in the Middle East, we already know what's going to happen. You know, this freight going to slow down because the ships is not going to be able to bring this stuff through. You know, anytime we see, you know, the things that go on in Europe and China and stuff like that, it affects us directly from those shipping lines. And we already know. And, you know, we have our ears on the ground. You know, the port workers will tell us too what's about to happen. You know, we got a couple of different ways of finding out, you know, the 411.
Yep.
But the economy is gonna get jacked up right now, and we plan for it every time we see it coming. We try to stock up on this and stock up on that, get the bills paid up and whatnot, and cut back on our spending. It's almost it's automatic and routine with us, because you know we're up in age, like you said. We see the signs, and it's coming. These youngsters, man, they don't have no idea, man, because it's going to be a bigger effect this time. They're talking about a whole, an entire global reset. The whole global reset. And that's going to be kind of painful.
One of the issues that I have with seeing these patterns and just being able to predict it is seeing afterwards, it just becomes the new normal. I get so tired of these new normals. Like everything changes and because we don't know our history. That's a big thing. Not me and you. We as a people, we don't pay attention to our history. We're not interested in history class. The history that they showed us in history class is already very tightly chosen and curated to give you the story they want. And people won't even learn that. And then like just the stuff in their life, they forget about the stuff in their life from 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Shoot, even like 1 year ago, people won't remember. They'll be saying, oh, well, the gas prices were higher under Biden. It's like, bro, do you even remember? I remember when I moved here, I was paying, this is 2021 when I moved to LA, and I was paying like $4.70 a gallon at Vaughn's. Like right now it's hitting 509
Oh, it's over
right
5.
now.
It's over 5 everywhere. It's over
Yeah.
5,
You know what I'm saying? So while
and
we're
it
talking
ain't
about,
done.
but the gas prices went down considerably under Biden as well,
Yeah,
and they
it was
stayed
going
kind of
down.
low under Trump too. It goes up and down, and some of that stuff, you know, to avoid super political talk. A lot of this stuff is out of the control of the presidents in America as well, because those oil producing countries choose when they want to up and down their production, right? They want to get rich too. Everybody's got to play. Nobody is over here just saying, oh, well, if everything is great, then I'm just going to keep on making oil and everyone's going to be fine. No, they'd be like, I'm trying to get rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I slow it down, they'll pay it. Oh, well, I slowed down too much, and then people stopped buying as much gas. They started carpooling more. They started riding their bike and riding public transportation more. Let me go ahead and lower the price of petroleum a little bit and see what happens over the next few weeks. I know they're testing us and seeing what the market. This is a capitalist statement. They want to see what the market will bear. They'll try to push, and then when people draw back, they'll be, all right, chill. No. We lowered the gas prices a little bit. Buy your gas. But now people are buying electric vehicles. People are starting to get on their solar. People, we're getting away from fossil fuels nowadays, and these electric vehicles, a lot of them have a lot of self-driving aspects to it. And so that was something else I wanted to talk to you about. Was Okay, reading the tea leaves. We're looking into the future here. We're just trying to make some predictions. I see self-driving taxis going around town. You know what I'm saying? Waymo. Now, before I left Colorado, I would go back to Texas, and sometimes I would fly into Dallas instead of flying to Houston. Like, sometimes it's cheaper to go to Dallas and rent a car um than to fly into Houston. Because I'm gonna rent a car regardless, you know what I mean? And the gas, whatever, just whatever. You just try to weigh it out. Plus, my brother lives in Dallas, so I would drive that track from Dallas to Houston a lot when I traveled. And there's a trucking company, and it was Waymo. They had outfitted their Freightliners with the lidar in the radar and cameras and stuff like that. And it was self-driving. It was those green Freightliners, and they were driving that 45 from Dallas to Houston, back and forth, straight trip. That was a long time ago. Like, Waymo been on its way a long time, bro. But now we see them every day out here, and I'm pretty sure they're coming to Houston soon. I'm pretty sure, like, if you don't see them, you live near a major metropolitan area, Denver or Austin or New York or wherever. I don't know. If you're anywhere in a major metropolitan area, I'm pretty sure self-driving taxis are coming your way, and that's gonna squeeze Uber and Lyft out. That's, what I'm saying. Your ride shares are gonna start getting squeezed out from regular people, and then you'll be more susceptible to AI. And look, AI is already taking the entry level, like, data jobs, data entry, accounting, secretary work, receptionist, right? Now they're taking away the simple driving jobs, your Uber, your Lyft. Now you got self-driving tractor trailers coming in. How are you seeing this? Am I crazy? Is it that, hey, that ain't going to take over for 20 years, or is it going to come faster than people are thinking? What do you think, Fred?
it's gonna gradually increase and get more caught up with that AI stuff. It's still gonna take another 10 years or so, but AI is gonna be a part of our everyday life, man. It's already in. It's already been in the Bible, man. That's the biblical stuff. It's gonna happen. It can't be stopped. It's gonna happen.
Wait,
When
you
it's
saying AI was in the Bible?
absolutely, it doesn't tell you that,
Right.
but in the book of Revelation, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. That's
Okay.
part of
Okay.
that's part of prophecy. It's gonna happen.
Who was
Um,
it? Joe Rogan said that Jesus is gonna come back as AI. I saw a clip. He said that. Does
That's
that,
gonna
do you
be
think
a
that
false
link lines
Christ.
up?
That's gonna be a false Christ. But
Man.
I can see how somebody would say that. But history should be studied more intensely than religion, to be honest with you, because a lot of the things that happen, it's already happened before, sort of say. I think even this AI stuff, to be honest with you,
Mm,
I'm gonna go that
okay.
far into saying that.
Talk to me. What do you mean?
But in in the book of Enoch, there's some things that happen. It's like the planet started and ended several times before.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I get what you're talking about.
And
Um, go ahead.
it's like we have these beings coming from other worlds coming here, um, that come here and and pretty much controlling everything. They're controlling everything, to be honest with you. Everything that's going on in the economy and the money and politics and everything. It's all controlled, bro. All of it's being controlled, man, by higher intelligence beings. And they have technology way more advanced, way far advanced than what we have. A lot of things that happened in the past was from their technology that we would normally think that it's some kind of magic. It's not magic. It's not magic. It's technology. A lot of it.
See, okay. So now I'm not religious, right? And I was very tortured about losing my faith when I was younger. So I studied as much as I could to try to rebolster my faith and try to, hold on to something from my culture because, like it was a place of comfort. And uh crap, what were we just saying? You were talking about it was resetting. So I started to notice that like they had a bunch of cataclysms, right? There's a bunch of cataclysms. Now, if you go biblical, there was, floods, there was, Sodom and Gomorrah, we got, people just get wiped out all the time, right? But other cultures had flood stories as well. And who is it?
Absolutely.
Right.
And then,
Other
and if
people
you
had
and if you and if you get into their flood story, it's similar but not the same as theirs. They're telling
And
it
I think the
differently.
Chinese, like Buddhists, I think they had a flood and like they did stuff, they organized and they beat it, like they defeated the flood type stuff.
Yeah.
It's just where you're at, what angle, what perspective you're coming at it from, your geographic region. But uh, and so I was talking about possibly playing a Billy Carson clip. I just don't have nothing lined up. You know what I'm saying? And I don't fully subscribe
Okay.
to any like doc, I do need evidence. I'm one of these people, I need rock solid, strong evidence, but I am always trying to learn, right? And he was talking about some of the writings like on the Emerald Tablets and the Adra Hasis. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. You pronouncing it wrong, but I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's writings that talk about these ancient weapons that were being wielded that were destroying entire
Yeah.
societies at a time. Now today we
Yeah.
could talk about nuclear weapons, right? Like we have to worry about that. That's something we got to be concerned about this month. Now we got to be concerned about nukes happening because a month ago nobody was even talking about the possibility of it, right? But if you look historically, like you said, instead of going too deep religiously, you could go look historically. Archaeologists keep on unearthing these civilizations that supposedly
That's
didn't
the key,
exist,
man.
right?
That's
Like
what
that
I'm
keeps
trying to
on
tell.
not being people, right? But then you find this place that's like, oh, well, this is 30,000 years older than the oldest human civilization. And they have perfectly square roadways, perfect circular pathways around their city centers and whatnot. And it was buried. Hold on a second. It was buried. Now, you could say someone defeated them militarily and then decided, I'm going to bury this city. Like that sounds like a stretch to me. I don't know. Just to me, I would say burn it down, destroy it, repurpose it, use it as your city now, or take it over or something else, right? But put it under the dirt, that don't make any sense to me. But a global cataclysm does. Um, and like I said, I'm not fully subscribed to it, but I've listened to stuff from Graham Hancock and is it Randall Carson? I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast, by the way. Look, I'm gonna just keep it 1,000. Joe Rogan's podcast kind of, it was super entertaining, and I heard things I never thought of before. But I think it was both of them were on the Joe Rogan Experience, and they showed like big zoomed out pictures of like the Midwest. They're saying like you can see where the glaciers came across the Midwest, and like where it carved out the Great Lakes. Everyone agrees that the Great Lakes were carved out by the glacier moving across the Earth's crust. It was scraping cavernous holes where the Great Lakes filled in, right? Once the glacier melted, it filled it in with all that water, right? But in
Mm-hmm.
if you keep on going west along the map, I lost you again. Yeah, and y'all got to bear with us because Fred's signal be dropping, but he's gonna be back on here, and I'm gonna finish my thought here real quick till he hops back on. But don't trip because I know where I'm going with this one. They've looked, and it looks like waves in the dirt. It looks like it was washed, like kind of like the beach whenever it has like a steady stream, like when the tide is coming in and out, and it makes those ridges along the ground. It basically looks like a big tsunami, a massive tsunami went across the Midwest, across those plains, and left that signature, as opposed to the scraping appearance of like how the Great Lakes were created. So it looks like two totally different phenomena that made these different things. Not saying like, oh, well, the water came over and pushed up a mountain. Not saying that. Saying like the Grand Canyon looks like erosion. We can look at it and we can measure it and we can very clearly explain the Grand Canyon is from, constant water going across a stone and sand surface, erodes it down, and it goes very deep, and it has this jagged appearance and whatnot, and you can see the stratification underneath it. But if you go across the Great Plains, you see these undulations that look like the waves on a beach, that looks like water flowed over it, right? Now this goes to confirming like a biblical type flood situation. But how come nobody ever talked about a massive comet or asteroid hitting the Earth and hitting these? First of all, the glaciers, how thick were the glaciers? According to our best scientific evidence, it was approximately, but the glaciers that were over where New York City is right now were about 5 miles deep. We can't even fathom 5 miles of elevation. That's 15,000 feet. That's higher than okay, I think I went to ski resorts in like Vail and Aspen and stuff that were like 14,000 feet. So that's like 3 miles above sea level. So we're talking about that much ice, not a stone mountain. We're talking about that much ice. So let's just say that during the ice age, right, that there was that much glacier across the Midwest, directly west of where New York is. And in that situation, um, how much water would be created from a massive burning hot, red hot asteroid or comet striking the Earth? How much water would be created, and when that flowed, what kind of patterns would it leave on the dirt? And that's what those gentlemen were saying on the Joe Rogan Experience, that basically that's probably what happened, wiped out some civilizations, and then that in turn buried civilizations with the runoff, the dirt, the water washing all that sediment over these places, effectively burying entire civilizations. And with that would fully explain a global flood myth, right? And this society, everything was flooded. So hey, the whole world was flooded. This society, it was flooded partially because, keep in mind, the Midwest is considerably closer to well, no, the globe's round. So I was gonna say the Midwest is closer to the Middle East than to China. But if I think, on a round sphere, maybe it's not. But if they experience it differently, one side could say, the whole world was flooded. The other side could say, we flooded, but we made it. Okay, I got him back.
Right.
Hey, Fred. But I'm gonna recap a little bit because I was still talking. I'm still talking just to get the thought out. But I'm gonna just recap a little bit what they've said. Like archaeologists, all those people that studied, the way the world was back during the Ice Age. They say that at New York, the glaciers that were a part of scraping all those lakes, those Great Lakes, were approximately 5 miles thick. Right, so above New York City, it was 5 miles of ice. Now I liken that. Right. It's an ice age. It's a true global ice age, not a localized individual's ice age. It's like a true global, like the the equator is still green and has water and stuff like that. But you go up further north, you get up here towards New York, Canada, there's ice all the way down, baby. You know what I mean? But so if you were hit with a massive burning hot asteroid or comet, I don't know exactly what term to use, but if you were hit with one of those, how much water would that melt? Right? And if it melted that water, what sort of a signature would that leave on the earth? It would leave those wave-like patterns that look like they go across the Midwest and even run down as far as like your Grand Canyon, which the Grand Canyon gives signs of erosion.
That's interesting.
Now, that's not
I
my
can see
theory.
that.
That's not my theory. That's just what I heard from Graham Hancock and Randall Carson.
Yeah,
So, but
that's
it kind of
interesting.
it lines up, right, with the evidence that
It
we're seeing.
does.
And I like to see hard
It
evidence.
actually does. Because if you look at a map, I got one right here, just of the United States, and just the way the mountains form and shape, and the valleys next to the mountains, it does look like it was a massive wave.
Right? And like he shows aerial footage like going over the plains, and it just looks like water wash over the whole thing. And then what's all that sediment gonna do that gets washed away? It's going to bury some places, right?
Yeah,
Because dirt moves when water flows. So some of these places are
yeah,
gonna get buried.
yeah, yeah. That's why the Incan pyramids down there, the pyramids down in Mexico and South America, they was really buried, man. They was buried. They was buried. They had to dig all of that out, man, and and reveal those pyramids, man, because they was really buried. The only one that hasn't really been buried like that is the pyramids in Egypt. But they're still uncovering pyramids now to this
Man,
day.
I hate that I keep losing you, Fred. Dang. And you know what? It's kind of looking like every time a plane goes overhead, the signal drops like that. But I'm gonna take this minute to just first of all thank people for tuning in. Uh, you can always go to patreon.com/dopeblackthoughts and help get this podcast out there. Help us with our funding model for making this sort of a thing more accessible. Um, we need equipment, we need help, we need editors, we need writers, we need producers, and we need volunteers. We're going to be trying to help with philanthropic things, blood drives, food drives, educational support for local school districts. I personally was on the school board in Colorado, and I'm going to be, just trying to help out, man, because we only get one chance at this. So we gotta help the world while we're here. Um, but so thank you for being here. Um, Another thing is we're trying to build an entire network. We're not trying to build a podcast. So this is just our little pitch. We started in Colorado. We have DBT live that we do out of Aurora, Colorado. I'm starting DBT LA. You see the you see the icon right down there. DBT LA. That's gonna be me, Fred, Kenny, Khalid. I got some friends up here, Jay, hopefully. We're gonna be hopping on. We're gonna be talking about local stuff in LA and the surrounding area. And we're looking into starting DBT Midwest. So we want to expand. We want to help the community. We want the community to be more united because in the African American, Black, African descendants of slaves, the African diaspora across the entire world, we're not together enough. We're not strong enough to get apart. You know, you can't win a fight with a finger plucking somebody, but you ball up all those fingers together, and you got a fist, and you're strong. So unity is super duper important. Um, I'm trying to look and see, and let me just tell Fred, man, you know what? I'm noticing it
What?
might be me. It's every time you cut out, I hear a plane go overhead. Uh, so it might be me. So, but I live close to LAX. You know, what am I going to do? Not have planes? But I just took that minute to just give a pitch
You
to
can't control that.
everybody. Yeah, I can't control that. I just was given a pitch just talking about, how we're trying to, first of all, rebuild the channel and also expand and open up more locations. Because this is DBT LA, this is Dope Black Thoughts LA. We originally started in Colorado. My co-founder Marcus is he's starting DBT Midwest. From a lot of family members in the Midwest, we're trying to basically we want to be everywhere because the Black community does not have the cohesion that it needs. Together we are strong. The analogy I just made was you can't win a fight plucking somebody, but you can make a fist and you can strike a real blow. I'm not saying that Black people are trying to strike anybody, just talking about strength and unity, strength in numbers. So I
I
implore
know what you
everybody,
mean.
patreon.com/dope black thoughts. Please subscribe, share this to anyone that you feel like this message would be helpful. But back to what we were talking about, Fred. What's that water gonna do? It's gonna push sediment. And then what's that sediment gonna do? It's gonna bury stuff. Like you said, a lot of those pyramids were buried. You think those people tried to bury those pyramids?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think they just got buried over time,
Right.
and or a cataclysm, and then that kind of makes it coincide with some of the stuff like Billy Carson was talking about, like these other beings from other planets. And no scientist will tell you that there's no way that beings, entities could be coming from other planets. No one can rule that out. Matter of fact, even my
Well, what
honorary
happens is
stepdad. Go ahead.
what happens is they change the names over the time periods to
Hmm.
make it fit the um um a person's faith and belief. They call them angel, they'll call them deity when they're just other people from other planet, more advanced. Not
I can
saying
see
I'm not
that.
gonna say it's no such thing as an angel. I'm not gonna say that. But
Right.
these beings that's coming from other planets, there's a lot of them masquerading as God, and that ain't cool. They're masquerading as God, and that's why we have the corruption and all the evil stuff that's going on Earth.
Well, as someone from the skeptic community said, any sufficiently advanced technology could be perceived as magic. If we were to take
Right.
like our phone and go and show it to someone in the 1700s, they would say, "You've stolen that person." Well, I'm just showing them a selfie or a picture on my phone, or I show them a video. They'd be like,
Yeah.
they have people captured and they have them in a box, and they're a witch and they need to be burned at the stake. So
Yeah.
we definitely have to
Whole different
remember that
perception.
we have a version of that for
Whole
us
different
too.
perception. A
Yeah, if
whole
someone can
different
manipulate time,
perception.
if something could manipulate gravity, if something could manipulate time, you probably call it a god. I mean, and there's no telling if 200 years from now, if we might be able to manipulate time and gravity, right? And then if we can do that, we would probably be masters of illusion as well, be able to, present ourselves as anything we wanted to. So, and it could be a totally human person that looks just like me, same haircut, same glasses, you know what I'm saying? Unless they choose LASIK, but could still hop into their suit, provide that illusion like a Mysterio on that Spider-Man. He's got projectors around
Right.
him, you know, and he's got speakers playing the sound
Almost
and
almost every religion has been bamboozled thinking that they ran into an angel or a God was speaking to them, and telling them to go and do some kind of weird act and going and killing and raping, and it's just crazy,
Some
man.
atrocities.
Any kind of
Some sort of
bloodshed and war and bloodshed and all that was going on, and that's not God.
and I'm not with just hanging my, or just grabbing anything that kind of makes sense and just hanging on to it. Like I really like to, like I want to cross reference stuff. And that's the thing, like when I started doing studies and started cross referencing, like so many people are saying the same thing. We're having so many similar experiences. So we know we're pointing at something. I'm not one of these full blown, like there's nothing out there. Like, like I never been like that. I just feel like I haven't seen anything written down that I feel like is 100% true. I feel like people are looking at it, people are pointing at it, where they're all kind of pointing in a similar direction. We're gonna figure it out, and hopefully we don't destroy the planet while we're on the way to figuring it out. That's the only thing. Is like we got to live to figure it out, and if we can't live long enough to figure it out, can my kids live long enough to figure it out? Can we please not pollute the air so much that my kids can live? Can we please not destroy the water supply enough that my kids can live, or possibly even have kids of their own? Jesus Christ. Like, I want my kids to become grandparents. Don't tell me there's some prophecy from somewhere that makes it okay that the whole world's going to get blown up and destroyed. Like, I want my kids to grow old happily and comfortably, and I know it's a real world out here and you can't, you never know what the future holds for your children, but you know what I'm saying. You know the message I'm trying to put forth. So I'm hoping, I'd be a little pessimistic from time to time, but good Lord, they doing a whole lot out here. So I want to kind of
A lot
steer
of
away
stuff,
from,
a lot of stuff is, like I was telling you earlier, a lot of stuff is written down on either old manuscripts that was um um taken from tablets, whether the tablets were stone, metal, or some kind of alloy, emerald, alchemical substance. And the emerald tablets is one of those. Is a perfect
that's
example.
a source.
That, huh?
That's a source. People can go and reference the Emerald
Yeah.
tablets. They can go and
There's
look at
so there's
them
so
and
many
see what they said.
tablets. There's literally like 1,000 tablets already discovered, and they're thinking that it's only 10 tablets from Moses. And as a matter of fact, King Akhenaten was Moses.
Mm-hmm.
See how they changed the name?
Mm.
King Akhenaten
I didn't even know that.
Egypt. King Akhenaten was Moses.
Okay. I
And
don't
and
know. I
and
don't
and
know
it's
anything
and
about
the
King
story and the
Akhenaten either.
story and the story is manipulated and twisted about the him taking the children of Israel out of Egypt, and it's manipulated. You can see it. You can literally see it. And he have the 10 commandments in his hand um as he's sailing across the Red Sea, sort of say. He's holding
Mm-hmm.
the story goes like he stole the Ark of the Covenant from Egypt. That's how the story is told. King Akhenaten, he stole the law from from Egypt, and went off and started his own tribe, sort of say, which is the children of Israel, sort of say. So I mean, it's just different, man. So everything is being like plagiarized and stuff, the scriptures and stuff. You have to like really dig deep into the artifacts of the stone tablets and those manuscripts. I read the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they talk
Mm-hmm.
about Jesus' life and stuff when he was younger, and give a little bit more narrative, a different perspective on his ministry as well. But it's so much out there. The church will have you looking in one book, and
One
it's
version.
limitless information everywhere across this planet that's
Yep.
revealing who your creator is and what our world is and what it's supposed to be like. And
Yep.
you're just getting one book because that book told you to open it and seek it, and you shall find. If you just knock in that one book, it don't make no sense that you're gonna find everything, the real understanding of God and your creator and the vastness thereof out of one book.
Yeah, that don't make
And
any
trust
sense.
in that one
It
book. That
sounds
one book.
implausible. And also, well, one thing that was a good statement in that book was you can judge a tree by its fruits, and the fruits of that book are a mixed bag, to say the least. It's a mixed bag. When people follow it to the T, most people don't like the results that they get out of it. You know, so I can definitely get onto that. We need different versions. We need different exposure. It'd be like if you learned how to do, like, in math, there's different ways to calculate things. So like let's not even say math. That's too general. Economics. There's multiple schools of thought with economics. There's Keynesian economics where they believe more in the whole trickle down. It's like straight up supply and demand. And then there's other forms of economics where people look more at who's making the means of production. Like when you go into different economy styles, some people believe only in money. Dang, we lost Fred again, man. That's not good. I don't like that. I apologize, guys, for the inconsistency. And I don't even think it's him. I think it's me. I think it's my internet. And I hear it playing right now. So I probably have to pick a better time to record and go from there. We can only do what we can do. We might have to do different days or something like that. But you know, you can't just subscribe to there's multiple schools of thought. You can't subscribe to only one school of thought. We need to hear what the multiple schools of thought have to say and weigh it out and see what seems to make sense based on the evidence and the outcomes of running a test or an experiment, or at least a thought exercise. People don't believe in thought exercises, bro. They don't ever want to think about, well, what if the other side was correct? Right? Like, good Lord, like, I think this local burger place by me is the best, but someone keeps telling me that no, it's In-N-Out. Like, have I ever just sat down and ate and took one bite out of one and took one bite out of the other? If I don't even do that, or at least think about to myself, well, this one has these ingredients, and that one has those ingredients. Like, if you won't even think about it, you're stuck, And so that's really what we're all about here. And we're getting close to the hour mark. So Fred hops on. I'm just gonna I'm just let him finish his thought, and we're gonna basically wrap it up because we're right at getting close to an hour. But that's what we try to do here on Dope Black Thoughts. We want to bring multiple schools of thought. Fred says something, you know what I'm saying? Fred has ideas, beliefs, exposure, knowledge. I have different ideas, beliefs, exposures, and knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And like the thing is, we need to cover all these different aspects. Hey Fred, welcome back. I was I was just saying, this is the value of our platform, is that we have so many different viewpoints, and like this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say dope black thoughts. We need black people giving our true honest takes on this stuff, and people need to know where we're coming from, because first of all, the biggest lie that they tell the world about the black community is the black community is like this. The black community is very diverse. You've probably met plenty of black people that don't believe what you believe, Fred. Me too, right? And we got to show the dynamics. But I just want to let you get a final thought, and I'm gonna wrap it up because we're getting close to an hour mark. Just basically, just if you feel like you something else on this topic, and then also one final dope black thought that you would like to end on.
Hmm. Um. Hmm.
Then I like this moment where you sitting here thinking like this. I would forget, and then they'd be like, "Hey, Kev, what's your dope black thought?" I'm like, what is my? See, you thinking. That's what I like.
Actually, I had that a little while ago. I just need to try to remember now. Um.
We were probably talking about some other stuff about that economy stuff.
That too. That too, because all of that's being manipulated. There's a bigger plan. Ultimately, these higher beings, these more advanced beings on the planet, they come back and forth, visiting the planet, and some of them are left behind to watch over us and our development, give us a little bit of this and a little bit of that to help evolve uh, the human species. And the nuclear weapon stuff, you got people that have it and people that don't have it. You got countries who have it and don't have it. The countries that don't have it want it. So whatever they have, that the ones that do have it don't, they're gonna use what they have kind of like a bartering chip to kind of get it, whether it's oil or gold or whatever. And that's how they're controlling everything. They're controlling the economics of every country and every nation through resources. And China's really got the best makeup, even though they don't have any uranium, but everybody wants to do business with them because they're manufacturing everything. They're manufacturing everything. They got the blueprint for everything to set up shop and get that stuff out there to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So so now the United States is trying to get on the manufacturing tip to be able to manufacture all these things, but they got a problem. We got a problem. They don't want everybody to have those jobs. To be honest with you,
That's
they
true.
only want the white society to get those good jobs and and to move up in economic status. They don't want people of color to have those jobs nor that knowledge. So
Very true.
everything is being controlled. Everything's being controlled. That's how they're controlling it. They that's not the only way, but the Saudis, Iran, um, all those other nations that don't have advanced weaponry that we have, they want it. And that's why you're going to have these prices going crazy because we're not in a position to manufacture a lot of things. A lot of things. We about to get hit real hard. There's rumors that Trump wants to be the the crypto capital of the world. I guess he want to put that out there to kind of leverage our lack of manufacturing.
Right. Um, and look, I'm gonna just take that as a dope black thought because that's a whole nother conversation. We could do a whole nother multiple hours of podcast talking about that. Um, I'm gonna let that land right there, because you're
You're
speaking
right.
fact. You're speaking facts, and that's a whole lot for people to chew on right there. Run that back, y'all. Listen to that. Um, Fred's on. He's on to some stuff. Here's here's my dope black thought to wrap it up on. Black people are survivors, man. I feel like, science, academia, everyone agrees life started in Africa, right? So there's no question about that. We're the original people, but also we're the strongest survivors. You cannot point to anybody that's been systematically killed and undereducated, underfed, undernourished, opportunities taken away from, justice taken away from, and still survive to the level of black people. Like black people we are very strong. If we're anything, we're survivors. So all this crap that's coming up, I feel like black people gonna be standing at the end of it, and we're gonna be
We
strong.
ready.
We're gonna be impactful. Now, I mean, we can't be nothing but
We
ready
ready.
because this ain't new to us. Yeah, all this. That was another thing that I wanted to talk about. When the economy dropped, everyone wigged out because it was new to them. I've been had my lights cut off, phone cut off, car didn't have no gas for days at a time. What? Man, I tell you what you better do. You better go get you that whole chicken or that half a chicken, put it in the deep freezer, right? Tell me I'm lying. And you better, when the lights get cut off, you better go get that stash of candles. And why do you have a stash of candles? Not from trying to get romantic. It wouldn't be those candles. You got that stash of candles and that long extension cord because you done had your lights cut off before. When your phone go off, you done memorize the 5 or 6 major numbers you need to memorize so you can go borrow somebody else's phone, or you know how to do it without. Like black people, we've been doing this sort of stuff. If you look at our cuisine, we made cuisine around how we took the scraps that they want to throw away and made it a hit. That they want to pay $30 oxtail, they were throwing away those tails. We took those tails and we made a masterpiece. Those pigs' feet,
Yeah, we're gonna make
they
it.
threw away those feet and we made a masterpiece. Hog maws, hog head cheese. And listen, I don't eat that stuff. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying we know how to take what's available and make a masterpiece. We can chef up a miracle. Like what Tupac said, Mama made a miracle every Thanksgiving. We can do this.
Yeah.
And I just want to leave it on a super duper positive note, because like this world is gonna keep on doing what this world does, and it ain't never one time been super nice out here when you get out here in the real world. I ain't nobody ever warned their kids, hey, when you grow up, it's gonna be great. They was sitting down like, hey, it's gonna be something else out there. Like, you live in your little microcosm here under my roof, and you got food on the regular, you get a certain amount of respect, dignity, privacy, blah, blah, blah. Now we live in a post-privacy world. Now we live in a post-respect world. People don't speak when you see them. People don't say sorry or excuse me if they bump into you. People try to run away if they hit your car in an accident. You know what I'm saying? People in my family, they bump a little car when they parking, and they'll leave a note, right, under the window wiper. Am I crazy? Some people do that. That ain't this world no more, right? Like, my wife did that the other day.
Right.
Like, I only got one wife, right? This is LA, dog. Like, they boom, skirt, they trying to get up out of here, And
Yeah.
if they hit you, then they want to try to pay you cash. They don't want no insurance claim. They're like, dog, you know what I mean? So things are changing, and the new normal is what I'm worried about. But I know what me and mine are going to keep as our normal, right? I got a pretty good idea of what you're gonna keep as your normal, but we gonna stand tall after whatever all this stuff that plays out, after all the chips fall as they will. Black people gonna be standing strong, and that's what I'm speaking to as my dope black thought. So,
Okay.
Fred, thank you, bro.
That was a good
Thank you for hopping
example.
on. Thank you, I
I
appreciate you.
appreciate you for
But
inviting me, man, and I look
yeah,
forward to doing more in the future. This was the first
yeah.
round, so we'll get it right
Yeah,
moving
and we
forward.
got a team of brothers, man. Like I'm excited because we got a team of brothers that got stuff to say, and we don't have to agree on everything. I want to put that out there. We don't have to agree. We just need to express ourselves. We need to let people know they're not the only one thinking that thought, because like I remember I'd be like, man, am I crazy or blah blah blah, and everybody be like, that's what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like that. Everyone thinks they're the only one. I'm gonna do one last little story. When I got on the school
Yeah.
board, I was a truck driver for 12 years. All right. I had never done anything political. I ran an election campaign and everyone loved me. I didn't expect it. I got elected in a landslide. And I got on that board and they were talking over my head using all these acronyms, talking about, ESSR and ESRA and like all these, they're just using all these acronyms, doing all this education speak. And I would just have to stop the meeting sometimes and be like, guys, hold on a second. Can we just roll back 2 or 3 minutes? I wanted to let y'all finish your thought, but I had no idea what you were talking about when you mentioned this. I wrote it down. I need to know what this is, what this is, what this is, right? And I was thinking, I'm just going to have to inconvenience the whole meeting and run it back. But I'm going to do it because I'm trying to help these kids, right? And
Yeah.
bro,
You got
during
caught up.
during that meeting, I would receive text messages from 3 other people on that same board that are former teachers, former principals, lawyers, doctors, that would text me and say, thank you for asking, because I had no idea either. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that thought you have needs to be out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do believe we're connected, Fred, not just via the internet. I believe there's a collective consciousness. And so like I'm thinking it, somebody else is thinking it too. So let's put it
Yeah.
out there and make people feel a little more comfortable with having their thoughts, and try to uplift the positive ones and try to squash some of the negative ones and find out the truth. So that's just my whole deal.
I like
All
that.
right. Thank you, Fred. I
Great talk,
appreciate
man.
what you had to add today, man. We gonna be on this type of time, and it's therapeutic for us as men to actually be able to get stuff off our chest and get stuff out of our mind into the airwaves and whatnot. So
Yo, man, I
uh
don't see anything but positivity, man. I needed this, like you said. It's funny that you said that. That's great. This was the first time I ever did that. So just putting it out
yep.
there. It was great to experience it. So
Yep.
I look forward
So
to it
y'all
in the
heard it
future.
here first, folks. See, Fred's first time, you know what I'm saying? Like me, I ain't been doing this for like 4 years. So we getting in our bag right now. And so I'm gonna end it right there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please check us out, patreon.com/dopebackthoughts. Like, share, subscribe. Please repost if you can. And thanks for supporting. So I'm gonna end the episode now.
Feel like deja vu. I can bang bang boogie like a conga. Yeah, bring it back, bring it. Feel like deja vu. Can't get you off my mind. Mental penetration. Whip the conversation. Maybe we get it faded. Get it faded, faded, faded when I see you. Get it faded, faded, faded when I see you.